see the what do you see called culverts there? Those holes. So right now, I can tell that we're at high tide, right? Because that is the ocean, right? Oceans have tide. So if you were to make a sandcastle in the morning, and you are so proud of your sandcastle, and you come back in the morning, where's your sandcastle? It's gone, right? Because of the tides. So that's like the Hudson River. We have two high tides, two low tides. They have to go with the moon. So you can take a look where the hole is, that culvert. If it were low tide, you would see a perfect circle there. So the Hudson River's tidal, yeah.
I know why there's waves in the ocean because of the moon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because of the moon cycle. And that's something Henry would have had to know too. That not only is he using the stars and the sky and the sun and the moon following to know which direction, but he would also probably have a good idea about the tides because it would be very difficult to navigate the half moon. Yeah. Why did he call the ship? That's a good question. I don't know why specifically the half moon. He had a lot of ships. He didn't just have the half moon. We're going to talk about the Discovery, which was his last ship. I think it was just kind of the name that the Dutch East India Company came up with. Now, Henry Hudson was pretty confused when he came up the Hudson River because it was a river with tides. And the Mohawk people, you know what they called the river? The river that flows both ways. So that's what Henry found when he showed up here. They called this the river that flows both ways. So, we come here, we find the Native Americans, Henry Hudson, they kind of come up with a little bit of a truce because of the trading. We're getting metals and we're getting furs. And then my friends who left their terrible stew back in Holland, they come and they settle, what was that first fort? Fort Orange, great, Fort Orange. And where Fort Orange was is kind of like next to the end of the castle. A little bit further down, those of you who are familiar with Albany, it would be the Holiday Inn Express. So actually where it would be, see where it says Historic Albany? Go to the other side there. Where, in that kind of building there, which is the Holiday Inn Express, that's where Fort Orange would have been. Right? You also have to picture what Albany would have looked like. And by the way, do you think that's a carving that says Historic Albany? No, that's actually a painting. That's a painting called trompe-l'oeil, means to trick the eye. It's meant to look like a carving. So if we were to knock out the highway, so I want you to picture, this is what the Dutch would have seen in 1624. They would have knocked out 787, that wouldn't have been there. You could see how close to the river Fort Orange would have been. Pretty convenient, right? You can give a wave. So that would have been pretty convenient for the Dutch. The ships could come in, they're right by the fort. They did have another fort, though, before, 1611. They had Fort Nassau. And they had that even closer to the river. But what did we say was special about the Hudson River? Yeah? The tides, right? And it flows both ways. So poor Fort Nassau kept getting flooded. It was really gross. So they did have to move a little further up. In 1624, we had Fort Orange, which was much nicer. Some of you mentioned the Pilgrims before. Believe it or not, the Dutch were actually here before the Pilgrims. We were here before the Pilgrims settled of the Mayflower, right? So why don't we have a Dutch Thanksgiving? If the Dutch were the first people here. All right, take a look for the bird. Hold on, pause. See if we get a peregrine anywhere.
No.
Although he better get away because he's going to get eaten by a peregrine. Poor bird. Nothing on that side? Alright. As we get a little further up the river, we're going to look for bald eagles. Alright, there are bald eagles on the Hudson River. You're going to look for their little white heads peeking out of the nest. Right. So, why aren't we having a Dutch Thanksgiving in November? Because when the Dutch first came, they brought, when the English first came, the English brought women with them, meaning they had intention to settle. And we had a guy one time said, women, ugh, way to bring down the neighborhood, so we threw him overboard. We didn't like that joke. No. Yeah, I'm kidding. Look at the concern. Love it. I love it. Drop it. You can take a look. You can see the U-Haul on top of the building spinning here. Also, sometimes the USS Slater, you'll see the radar spinning. If you see the radar spinning, that means that it's open for tours. Yeah.
Doesn't have a flat gun on it for some reason.
Now, coming up to our port side in just a moment, you're going to look over, and you're going to see the Albany Yacht Club in Rensselaer. Why is the Albany Yacht Club in Rensselaer? Because when they built 787, it disconnected us from the river, and people in Albany were like, this is such a pain. And they moved the yacht club over to Rensselaer. I want us to look at, let me see if it's still there. Yeah, they're packing up a lot of the boats right now. They're packing up a lot of the boats. Why do you think we're doing that? Yeah. It's getting too cold. So what do you think happens to the Hudson River? It does freeze. Now, after Henry settled in, discovered in 1609, we settled Fort Orange. Are we done trading? No, absolutely not. We are not done trading. So a lot of what we're going to see as we come up to the river, we're going to see the trade that in 1609 we helped settle, that we helped discover coming up. But the reason I tried, like I said, so just so you know, so the Hudson River freezes by us because we don't have the salt. Because does the ocean freeze? No, the ocean does not freeze. But here, it does freeze. So that's why these boats have to go away. They have to put them into storage. Right? So, but we do, because of the trade that we're going to see, all of the trade that we're going to see, they do have big boats that will come here in the wintertime and cut through the ice. It'll cut right through the ice so that we can continue trading. And I always like kind of going by the Albany Yacht Club. Can you imagine Henry's face looking at some of the boats? I always feel like he'd be like, I want that one, and I want that one.
I want that one.
Sailboat.
I
want that one.
I'm the black one in the back.
Yeah, I'll take that
No, actually, I'll
black
take the one in the front.
one right
That one in the
there.
front.
That one I'm pointing to, that I'm actually pointing to on the screen, but not in real life. That one, yeah,
I'll
right
trade you my
yeah.
phone.
That whole thing right there, yeah, that one right
Wait, no,
there.
I'll take the one that's trailing right in the back.
You see that one right
No,
not the
I'll
first one,
take
but the
that.
second one in the back. That's what I want. I'm holding a tablet, okay?
You see that blue one right in the back?
So,
Zach wants the
boys
blue
and
one.
girls,
I want the yellow one.
He wants the yellow one, the sailboat.
The yellow one.
it wasn't just Albany, of course, that settled for trade in here, that saw the value of the beaver trade. We did start selling more and more ports as more and more, boys and girls, are we listening?
Yeah.
As more and more families were coming and settling, more forts were being built, including over in Rensselaer. Right? So in a moment, we're going to look on the, what's the left side called again? Port side. We're going to look to the port side, and eventually you are going to see Fort Craylo. Right? Fort Craylo is one of the early forts that still is standing. It's still standing today.
America.
And you're going to look for
America.
an American flag. Like, you know, you see the swan? Look at that beautiful swan.
I see it. Where? I can't see. Where? Oh.
Pretty swan.
American flag.
Right there. Look.
Anybody let me know when you see that American flag.
That's a dog.
Oh, that's not that one. Good point. Fake out. That was a fake out American flag. There's another one closer to the water. There it is. So there is Fort Craylo.
Where?
This is another great opportunity for a field trip. This is a really cool space. They've got some great exhibits, and it also goes into great detail about the fur trade. But
Where's
did
for
you
where?
ever learn the song
That's a fort?
Yankee Doodle?
That's not a fort.
Yankee Doodle? Yankee Doodle is thought to have been authored and created in Fort Craylo. Right in our backyard, Yankee Doodle was created. Now, Yankee Doodle, when it first came out, was a very naughty song. It was very, very naughty, and it wasn't American. The English sang it on Americans during the Revolutionary War to make fun of us. That they were teasing us. Well, guess who won the American Revolution? Was it the English? No, we won the American Revolution. So, when we won, what did we sing? Boys, you alright? Alright? No drama on the boat. No drama on the boat. So, they would sing it back at the English. So that song that they were using to make fun of us, we would sing it back at the English. So after Henry Hudson discovered this area, do you think he was just done? He was like, what I discovered, what would later be called Albany, New York.
What? Do you want to be in a YouTube video?
Yeah.
Huh?
No. What was it that
What's your
Henry
face?
wanted
I
to
can't
name again?
There's your face, yeah.
What was his dream that he brought him here? Yes, in the corner.
Here's the barge.
Not the northeast, but the north. West.